So it feels like it's been a hot minute since I've sat down and filmed something for you guys. So I thought today we would do a bit of a catch up on what's been going on and also jump into a bit of a Q&A because I feel like it's also been a while since I've done one of these. I really enjoy doing them. So I solicited a bunch of questions from you guys on Instagram in particular. I was going to film this video outside. As you know, I do love to smoke a stogie while chatting to you all, but I feel like combination of things like the weather in the UK, it's pitch black right now. You wouldn't know because it's all artificial lighting at the moment, but it is completely dark and it is basically early afternoon as I'm filming this. Plus the subject matter is going to be one where I'm chatting a lot, so it would just be full of jump cuts and lots of things going on, even with Pebbles walking around here as well. So I thought it'd be easier just to sit down here in the usual setup and backdrop, talk to you guys, and then I will definitely film a smoking video with you all very, very soon. Watch the space. And Pebbles has decided to come back. Say hello, Munchkin. I feel like there is a lot to cover, so I'm going to dive straight into the life update, and then we're going to jump into all of the questions that I have on screen. Now, of course, if you are a seasoned subscriber, you've been watching along for a while, you'll notice posts have been a bit more sporadic lately, and you know, that's by no means by design at all. The past few months genuinely required me to pause, reflect, invest in my self-care, reset, and this just meant stepping back from filming and editing and all of that rigmarole for a little bit of time. The biggest thing that I have been managing is that I went through a separation earlier this year. My personal life is pretty private. You know, I've never mentioned names and any references were always in passing, but obviously long-time subscribers will have been aware and noticed the shift, and so I don't want to pretend like nothing happened. You know, it wasn't a sudden decision. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to realize that you've gotten to a point where two people are just growing in the wrong direction, have different values, different desires, and that environment can stop being healthy pretty quickly. And when something consistently chips away at your peace, your confidence, your energy, you eventually have to choose yourself. It's not something I'll be unpacking much further publicly because this is not a gossip channel, but I am comfortable in saying that this chapter ending was the right thing for me to do, and I genuinely wish him nothing but the best. I wish that could be said the other way around. Everybody is entitled to do as they wish, but this is the last time I will hopefully have to speak about this because I'm in a much better headspace and a positive chapter in my life now, very quietly, very privately enjoying what my life has really become. I haven't looked forward to a lot of things for quite a while. Social media can be very deceiving, but I'm a trooper and I'm really glad that ultimately I chose myself and this little one, and we have so many things to look forward to in the future. As the old saying goes, when one door closes, another one opens, and I'm a lot more inspired. So there will be lots more content that will come more routinely, and I want to thank you in advance for your understanding and your patience. Now we can move on to the fun part and start answering your guys' questions. Now, I love to chat, that you will all know, so we will try and rattle through this as quickly as possible. First one I got was first cigar. Now, my first cigar is hazy to me. I bought it at Davidoff, that is for sure, served by the loveliest lady. I'll never forget, she gave me a recommendation. I feel like it was may have been like a Flor de Capan, or oh gosh, it was a really small cigar, but I'm pretty sure it was like a Robusto size. It was very small, narrow ring gauge, short, 35-minute smoke. If I can remember it during editing, I will put the name on here because it's just really evading me right now. That's how long ago this was. This was like 2 years ago or something like that. It was okay. I don't think it was anything to write home about, clearly, because I don't remember it, but your fast is always going to be an exploration, shall we say. Then after that, did more research, went down a rabbit hole looking at, like, you know, Kirby Allison, Eddie Sakarkin's videos, obviously. No gear at all and no idea, so then just slowly started building from there. I think I choked when I smoked the first one. You kind of have to go through that rite of passage, you know, so that you realise what you shouldn't be doing, right? I know I'm going to kick myself as soon as I do the editing for this video. I'm absolutely going to be able to find it. Okay, next question. Does smoking cigars keep your mouth dry? Obviously, if you were just to smoke a cigar without drinking water, like most things, like even chatting to you in front of the camera right now, my mouth is getting a bit dry, then obviously, yes, it's going to get dry. Will it get more dry if you're smoking a cigar? Absolutely. So what I tend to do anyway, just out of habit and enjoyment, is I will have a drink to sip on. Doesn't have to be alcoholic, by the way, because you don't want that sticky taste in your mouth. I'm assuming you have smoked cigars and you've noticed this happens to you, so just make sure to stay hydrated. And I also find that you shouldn't be puffing that much. You know, it's part of having a nice conversation, unwinding. You are not a chimney, so that would also possibly help if you were to space out your draws in between. Next question. Best place to cigar shop in Europe for a long weekend? There are so many options. I would say up front, one of my most memorable experiences was going to Cyprus. You basically hire a car and just going around and finding cigar lounges. There was one lounge in particular. I think if you go on my Instagram, you go on the Smokes Around the World series that I did of like the carousel photos, it's on there. I'm wearing like a red Zimmermann dress. It's beautiful. The weather was lovely as well, and the owner was super nice. He just had the most amazing selection, and he also had like this lounge area as well where he served drinks and nibbles too. Also, I found in Cyprus the pricing was a bit better than continental Europe. That being said, I have had good deals to be found in Germany. Other parts of Europe, like, don't buy them in Switzerland, for example. I think because of various like tax and tariffs and maybe even like embargoes and stuff like that, you're just going to get a variable selection. But Cyprus had a good mix of old world Cubans and new worlds. And I've just had the friendliest sales associates there as well. I think it's a full package service. It's not just about the pricing. Kind of why I love luxury shopping so much, because this whole industry is about the holistic experience, not just the product. And I think service is highly underrated. And I think with cigars in particular, there is a whole sense of like snootiness, or it can be really daunting. So I think Cyprus in general, a very friendly, very open culture. It's going to be a really good place, very affordable, and lots to do for a long weekend as well, and very close to the rest of continental Europe if you are around, as I will assume that you are from Europe, if not the UK. I'd visited a lot of Europe before, prior to indulging in cigars, so there's a lot of places to revisit and discover. If you have, however, been to a few lounges and, cigar stores in Europe and you find the pricing to be really good, then leave them down below. I'm sure a lot of folks will be really interested and keen. Next question. Do you ever come to NYC, New York City? Yes, I have literally just been there. I just come back and I spent over a week there. And this is my second visit in less than 2 months. So I think I will be going there more frequently to rediscover a beautiful city that I haven't been to for a very long time, many, many years. In fact, it was a different decade of my life altogether. And so it's been really lovely and serendipitous to go back at a very different stage in my life. Watch the space. There will be plenty of recommendations, and I will be going, I know you didn't ask this, but I'm sure other people will, to cigar stores, lounges out there, because there is a lot out there. And I think you'll find it interesting because obviously they have the embargo relationship with Cuba, so Cubans are almost impossible / skyrocketing and sky high in prices. So I will of course try my best next time to vlog it and share information with you guys if you are interested, because I know a lot of my audience is from the US. Next question. How about smoking cigars and teeths? I'm assuming your teeth. I have made a video, reel and short about this, so you can go pursue that. It's so funny. People think that cigars are super damaging to your teeth without realizing people have sugar, coffee, there are drugs, there are other things that, obviously like chemicals in your food, all kinds of things that would probably damage your teeth more. I understand why though, because obviously when you're smoking it and it's pure tobacco, it's going through your teeth, especially the way that you are holding this cigar and drawing it. But unless you are smoking like 6 or 7 a day religiously and you are not rinsing your mouth or drinking anything in between, I don't think you have that much to worry about. No need for any concern in that department, shall we say. Next question. Have you ever thought of cigar / fashion pairings? So cigars as accessories to your outfits. You know what? That is a really good question. I always dabbled in this idea of like, maybe I should film some videos of like styling cigars, or like me if I was a cigar brand, and I was considering doing that. So if you're keen on that, let me know. Sometimes when I bring cigars, I will consider like the handbag that I'm bringing it in, and obviously like where I'm going, the type of vibe, if I'm going to be able to do a longer smoke, shorter smoke. So then I will pack a cigar that fits in my bag but also fits the vibe of the place that I'm going to. But I've never thought, oh, for example, hypothetically, I'm wearing a blue outfit, so I should pick a cigar with a blue label or something like that. I've never thought about it that way. That being said, I have found my cigar pouches or accoutrements to be really cool accessories anyway. I have some cool pieces that I've added to my cigar collection, like, you know, my lighter, my little gun lighter, and the pouch that I have, which is basically like a handbag. I love wearing those out. So, you know, I guess that in a way is like a fashion cigar pairing. But in the literal sense of, do I pick cigars as accessories to outfits? Probably not. I'm not that materialistic like that, where I would just smoke a cigar just for the look, even though they do look very cool. I do really enjoy cigars in their own right. Next question. How many cigars do you smoke per month? And I feel like this question has come up a little bit more often, yeah. So I might just answer this one and the other two that I've seen in one breath, because otherwise I'd be repeating myself. So I had another two questions, which were, how often do you enjoy a cigar, if I may ask, and do you smoke regularly? The answer to that is going to vary depending on a lot of things. Like the weather in the UK is a very material one, because if it's crappy weather like today, then even if I want to smoke a cigar, I'm lazy and I'm practical. So I look outside and I'm like, the vibe is not right. Typically in the summer, I will smoke, if I would say weekly, like once a week, twice maximum. But nowadays it's like once every week or 2 weeks. So it's really not as often that a lot of people think. Obviously, when I'm going out with friends and all of that, I may bring 1 or 2 cigars. The most cigars I've ever smoked in one sitting is 3, and I did feel it the next day, because they were pretty big cigars. They were Petit Corona sizes, I think, and the vibes were great, the drinks were flowing. I think it was a combination of things, but I just did not feel well the next day. So I know what I like, but you know, special occasions and all of that, it can dial itself up as well. So yeah, that's why my lungs and my health are none of anyone's concern, because I do not smoke enough for it to be a thing. And now for the next question, New York food recommendations and shopping. Gosh, this could be a whole video in itself. I will not be doing this justice. And I also don't know, and I need to know, what cuisines that you like. Now, I'm going to go onto my maps actually, because there are a lot of things that I've starred. But if you want pizza, because New York pizza is really good, I've tried Joe's Pizza, which was fantastic. There was also Prince Street Pizza, which they have the square pizzas, which are really nice. The vodka pizzas are really nice, the vodka sauce. Bleecker Street Pizza is also good. Ooh, big stretch. John's of Bleecker Street is also really well rated. I haven't tried it yet, but it's on my list. They have great Mexican food out in New York. So Mexican food, I'm just trying to get all the stars up. Ooh, nice. Los Tacos is really, really good. And then there was, I think like Tacos 1886 was really nice. Rosie's Mexican, yeah, I've been there. That was lovely. And then there's a bunch of other places that you can go to for like Chinese food and Korean food. Koreatown is great. Chinatown, they have loads of dim sum places. You really cannot go wrong. Where was the dim sum place? Nomwa Tea Parlor, which is on the Bloody Angle, which is really well known historically and culturally, plus they have great dim sum, which was fantastic. And so those are the ones that are just on the top of my head. There's plenty more. If you have specific cuisines, then let me know. And you also asked about stores. Now, I did actually on my Instagram stories put up a list of great vintage stores and like other bigger brand like flagship stores that I really, really loved. So in the West Village, Colourful Natalie was really, really cute. And in Soho, Mur and Grand, hopefully that's what I'm saying is correct. It was super cute. In fact, there are some pieces that I'm going to do as a haul, which I think I will post after this video goes live, unboxing and sharing all the items that I got from New York, new, vintage, low end, high end, all of that, so you can check that. But my favorite ones are also Laced Up Manhattan, 2nd Street Vintage. They have loads of branches. Depends what you're looking for. I didn't get a sense of the categories, but if you want, next time around, let me know the categories and I can give you more specific recommendations. But if you'd be interested in shopping blogs, also let me know. So next one is, what is your advice for any women new to posting cigar lifestyle content? Pebbles, can you sit down please? Because this is kind of weird, just to have your backup. It depends really what type of content you mean, because there is this fetishization, that's how you say it, of women smoking cigars, which I have noticed on my channel, and it's not the most palatable. Pebbles, you look really crazy in the camera right now. Hopefully it's not leaning to that stereotype, because that's something I'm also acutely aware of. If it's just normal content, you're just sharing the passion for it and you've got recommendations, or you know, you just want to find other like-minded people out there, my advice to you is just be sincere about it. Share as much information as you can, start good conversations. Don't do things that you feel are not authentically you. Certain people like to put us in a box, and I wouldn't lie to you if I said that, you know, I could have easily grown this channel to be much more bigger if I used my gender, my sexuality to market this content, but I actively choose not to. No tea, no shade to people who do that, but if you're just posting lifestyle content because of the joy of it, then stay true to who you are and the right people will come, because you don't want to build an audience where the wrong people are looking. Next question. Why are you gay? I don't know why I bothered reading this one out, because obviously I can see who wrote it.
Why are you gay?
And all I will say is this: you of all people should know that I'm not gay. And actually, maybe you're gay. I'm not projecting much anyway. But let's not have that be our last question. This is the last question, is how did you get into cigars? And I guess I kind of alluded to this earlier, but I got into cigars over many years of consideration. I had seen it on TV for a long time growing up, and I loved the idea of cigars. It seemed very refined, but it was always done by men, and I'm always inherently curious about doing things differently as a woman. I did a bit more research, stumbled across the Davidoff store, fell in love with it. I honestly didn't think much of it. I just thought I'll share my passion online as well, see if there's any other women that are into this, and lo and behold, here we are today, and it's now a fixture on the channel. So that is so funny to me that life works in such mysterious ways and continues to do so. I think if I didn't have such a positive experience with the sales associate, positive experience with the cigars that were recommended to me, and you know, found all these resources online, there's so many micro moments with complete perfect strangers that completely changed my path, and I'm so grateful for them. And so that's why this channel exists in all of its forms, you know, luxury spanning fashion and lifestyle, cigars, all of that. It's all to share the knowledge and the love so that it feels less daunting for some of you out there, as it may have done back in the day for me. I would love to hear all of your guys' stories of how you got into cigars. Anyways, those are all of the questions you guys submitted for this time being. I have been speaking for far too long. If you have any more questions, leave them down below or message me, and I will collate enough of those into another video. The more rogue, the better, to be honest with you. It doesn't have to be just cigars, because I have a lot of opinions on a lot of things, and I just love to chat, clearly. With that said, I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one.